Every year when football season rolls around, my motivation to meal prep on Sunday mornings plummets to zero. The only thing that saves me is having quick and easy recipes like this hot honey pork stir fry. I started this one at 10:54 and finished 42 minutes later at 11:36. If you double up cooking things at the same time, which I couldn't do because I had to keep things on camera, you'll be able to complete this even faster. Here's how it's done. Get started by throwing on some rice. In this recipe, you'll need 3.75 cups or 563 grams of cooked rice. How much dry rice that is will depend on the type of rice you use as well as the cooking method. I used 250 grams of a dry medium grain rice and I still had a bit left over. Wash it till the water runs clear and throw it in your rice cooker or pot. Next, I chopped up all of my vegetables, starting with one medium red bell pepper or 150 grams worth that I cut into a medium to a large dice. Now, if I weren't doing this for the camera, I would start by cooking my pork first. That way it can get going in the pan while I chop my vegetables off to the side. This would save you about 5 to 10 minutes in the context of the total recipe. Next, I chopped up about 6 green onions or 75 grams worth into a small dice. I made sure to separate the whites and the greens as we're going to use these in different areas. Lastly, I washed and cut 12 ounces or 340 grams of green beans into about 1 to 2 inch pieces. After my vegetables were cut, I made my sauce. This recipe uses a product that I call crunchy chili garlic oil. It's at the top of my condiment power rankings at the current moment. This particular product is named Chili Onion Crunch. Trader Joe's has one called Crunchy Chili Onion, and you can find it in the Asian section of most grocery stores or Amazon as a last resort. Place a bowl over a scale and to it add 2 tablespoons or 30 grams of your crunchy chili garlic oil, 1/4 of a cup or 84 grams of honey, 3 tablespoons or 45 grams of soy sauce, and 1 tablespoon or 15 grams of rice vinegar. Stir it together to create a smooth mixture, ensuring to pick up all the honey off the bottom of the bowl, and then set it aside until you're ready for it later. Next, heat a large skillet over medium-high heat and add to it 1/2 of a tablespoon or 7.5 grams of oil. Then to the skillet, add 2 pounds or 908 grams of 90-10 ground pork. Give the meat a nice seasoning with salt and pepper and allow it some time in the heat to brown and color up. I know some of you lads out there don't eat pork, so know that another ground meat will be okay as a replacement. If you're looking for ideas of an alternative, may I interest you in beef, turkey, chicken, caribou, elk, moose, deer, goat, lamb, mutton, kangaroo, sandhill crane, pronghorn? Actually, probably not pronghorn, I heard those suck. The rest of them should be able to get the job done though. Once my pork was finished cooking, I transferred it over into a large bowl so that I could stir fry my vegetables. If you have more than one skillet and burner available, you can cook these simultaneously to make things go by faster. Place another 1/2 tablespoon or 7.5 grams of oil in your skillet over high heat and then add your green beans. We're going to try to get a little bit of a scorch on these. Shake these up in the oil, toss them around, and once you start to see some black spots on the exterior, then you can go on with your red peppers and scallions. You can also turn the heat down to a medium-high at this point. If you notice your skillet is getting a bit dry, you can take a couple of spoonfuls of oil from your sauce and add it early, that way you don't have to add any extra oil. After your peppers and onions have had about a minute or two in the heat, you can go back in with your pork, pour in the rest of your sauce, and then mix everything together. This is where it would be nice if you had a wok and a jet burner in your house, because you could introduce some wok hay and really take this stir fry to the next level. Now, if you're a normal person and don't have that, but you do have a torch, you can shake up the pan and toss that torch through the food and you can mimic the same effect. Once you have all the sauce mixed in, you need to taste test and make sure that you have this salted properly. Adjust the flavor with salt as needed and then this one is ready to go. You'll get 5 servings out of this one, so I got out 5 meal prep containers, my scale, and then proceeded to burn every one of my fingers on the rice pot because for some reason I don't believe in using pot holders. I ain't no sissy boy. And now I don't have feeling in my fingers. So don't be a muppet like me. Each container is going to get 3/4 of a cup or 112 grams of cooked rice. Once your rice is plated up, you can divide the stir-fry mixture evenly into the 5 containers. Weigh it out or don't, I don't care. Remember that if you eat all 5 containers by the end of the week, it doesn't matter if one has slightly more or less than another. It will all even out in the end, and that's why eyeballing is okay with me. Finish it off by garnishing with the green onion tops. Each serving of this hot honey pork stir fry has about 616 calories with 43 grams of protein. I want to note that when I write these recipes, I write them for the masses, meaning that I try to accommodate the palates of as many people as possible. What I'm getting at here is that this isn't written to be overly spicy. I would score it maybe a 4 out of 10. The brand of chili garlic oil used will have some effect on this in either direction, but if you want spicier, add more. Or add some Szechuan chilies or red pepper flakes if you don't want to include more of the oil. Once the dishes have cooled down and stopped steaming, throw on the lids and move them into the fridge where they will last for up to 5 days. When it comes time to reheat, I pull one from the fridge and pop it in the microwave for about 1.5 to 2 minutes until it's hot. I am personally not a fan of freezing meals, but if that's your game, go for it. Just keep in mind this is not going to freeze as well as a soup or a stew or something extra saucy because there's not as much water in it. As a general rule, I found that the more water something has, the better it freezes and reheats in terms of flavor and freshness. As mentioned at the beginning of this video, football season is here as I record this, and that means my Sundays are reserved for 7 hours of couch sitting while being entranced by Scott Hansen. You're not going to find me on a Sunday spending any more time in the kitchen than I have to over these next few months, and that's where recipes like this one come into play. You can find the full written version of this recipe on my website, and that is linked in the description below. If you're looking for more quick recipes to meal prep on football Sundays, check out these two linked here. Later, skaters.